Welcome again, welcome guys once again to another cast from your favorite caster, Omega Kai, bringing to you the Tuesday night random casts for the Australian New Zealand Guild, which is currently sitting at exactly 1,000 members. So that's quite a strong presence from the Australian New Zealand community in terms of a guild. They regularly have lobbies every night, and as those who follow my channel know, that occasionally there are casts on those channels. I just want to take the opportunity to thank those who are following me, particularly on both Twitch and YouTube. I've suddenly had this big surge of views on YouTube as well as subscribers, so thank you very much for that. In any case, I am Omega Kai. I am playing solo. Hopefully, I will be picking up somebody later tonight to do the second of the random cast tonight, just because I like to get a different perspective, and it's more interesting for the listeners of the particular match. Anyway, going quickly into some plugins. Southern Coast Dota, that's a community app. Those who've watched my casts know I talk about plugins quite a lot. These guys they don't run events. They support those people who are looking to run events, and I think you should show your support by going on, signing up to their forums, making your presence known to them, looking at their VODs, and maybe posting some information about yourself, saying hi and whatnot. Just because they need that support. The more people that support this, the greater the community will be. Any more so than any one particular event. These guys are definitely on top of the list in terms of how it should be. Going to do a plug in there for Dota 2 New Zealand. If you are a New Zealander and you're looking to support just the New Zealand community, this is the only team people or group of people that are doing anything in terms of New Zealand events specifically at present. They're doing something just after August. I think it's going to be 24 teams head to head, although that's just the figure I'm throwing out there. Gonna roll into the game now. As you can see now, it's ASP Mob versus Get Him, which is actually just two random teams that people have joined. You can see some very, very strong bands of the IO, the Wisp, of the Visage. We know how well the Visage works in a trail lane. We see it quite regularly with an Alchemist, and so I think those are very, very solid bands. In terms of the bands, because it's going quite quickly now, I've missed that a little bit. They've banned a Gyro, they've banned an OD, and they've banned a Weaver on the Radiant team. We have seen a bit of a surge in terms of OD play lately. I think that has something to do with the fact that there's a lot more strength heroes being put into the mix, in particular like DK mid, or those heroes that Clockwork and whatnot. OD doing very, very well against those heroes by sort of just cycling through those imprisonments and just locking out their mana pool, eventually getting down to a very, very low figure, and that really, really helps to dominate in the mid position. So we're seeing a lot of OD bans, and I'm surprised to just see there now the Lifestealer ban going. It got all the way through the first round, and so I think that's a very, very smart ban. In terms of picks, rolling along again to the Dire team, you can see they picked up Nyx Assassin. If you're that guy and you like Nyx Assassin, I hate playing against a team that has a Nyx Assassin. I don't know about you guys, but the sudden, out of nowhere Impale, followed by a Mana Burn, and potentially a Dagon, just totally ruins your day if you play support, and that's what he's going to probably be looking to do. Possibly in the trailing position, but he may be filling a role that's somewhere in the middle there. They've also picked up a Shadow Demon. Shadow Demon being in the top 3, along with Jack, along with Visage, I think, that you're going to see a lot more in the TI3 that is picked up in the trail lane, for a trail lane. Everybody knows the power disruption. Everybody knows how Shadow Poison works. Not many people seem to focus too much on the Soul Catcher. And, in my opinion, Soul Catcher there being very, very strong. And they've picked up a Juggernaut for their third slot. Juggernaut having that great, great pushing power. And if you can catch heroes alone, that Omni Strike, his ult, just totally destroying them. In terms of the Radiant, wow, so many games we see Batrider banned first, and I'm glad to see in this game Batrider getting through into that first pick position. Batrider dominating the middle with his lasso, and also being able to, that flexibility of Firefly being able to get around the map. I could see him comboing well with the second pickup, which is Alchemist, having that charge on the bottle. Once somebody's lasso, he can wait for that unstable concoction, throw it in at full maximum stun and damage, and that's going to be a really, really lethal combo that I hope we see unfold in this particular game. I think Alchemist is probably, in my opinion, should be a tier 1 pick. He is kind of close to being a tier 1 pick in the June-July tier hero picking scenario. There has been a little bit of a break in terms of tournaments. We haven't seen many Alchemists being used at that level just yet. We have seen out of the Southeast Asia Chinese scene that happening a little bit, but not so much in the European Western games. Rubik there, very, very strong pickup. Rubik being one of these heroes that is capable of stealing ults. Everybody knows how Rubik works, but I think he's more, in terms of a third slot, that's very, very strategic because it's going to make I think, whether or not they want to pick up these team fight heroes for their other slots. And he's definitely going to go into a tri lane, most likely with Alchemist, whereas Batrider is most likely going to be mid, but he still has the option to be a solo lane. Going back to the bans and also the Dire team, we see they banned it for their final ban slot there. Their Clockwork. Clockwork being one of those heroes that everybody hates to fight against. Where if excellently timed and executed cogs can really ruin your day, along with those mini stuns being very, very powerful, and of course that grapple shot. He has that capability to jump in, and he works very, very well also in the mid position. And I've also seen some very good plays in the tri lane recently, which quite surprised me because I wasn't expecting that. He's able to block off the lane and sort of segregate in a sort of defensive scenario when it's 3-on-3. He's able to segregate two team members away from another, so the rest of his team can pick it off. So let's see if we can see that coming through here. In terms of last pickups, they picked up Slack. I'm of two minds about Slack. I think Slack would actually, people play him mid, people play him solo lane. I actually think support Slack is very, very strong in the trailing position with a Shadow Demon and another carry. I think his ability to jump in works very, very well because, from my perspective, if he gets enough hits with his Essence, what's it called? Essence shift, he doesn't really need items, and items make him much, much better, but I don't think he desperately needs items in order to be effective, and so that's why our supports can be very, very useful. But I do expect to see him in the long lane or in the mid position in this particular lane, or as potentially as the carry in the tri lane. Radiant having picked up that Queen of that I was going to say Queen of Pain, but I think that's just been banned. Picking up that Keeper of the Light, we're seeing Keeper of the Light fall out of popularity in terms of pickups for a lot of teams, and I think this is because he does peter off in late game, and unless you use that pushing power of the Illuminate very, very early, or you're very, very confident in using his ult and summoning heroes when you need to summon them, and you're got their blinding light timed very, very perfectly, I think he's falling out of popularity because he's not as easy to use as people have previously thought, given that but how he still adds that element of the chakra. He does still add that element of the mana drain, which I think is very underutilized in a lot of team fights. That mana drain being very, very, very important in order to stop basically pursues or chases of heroes. And also it can be used on heroes early game. When you're going to retreat from a scenario, because it's just going to take away that mana and their ability to actually crack out damage. Into the final slots for the bans. Radiant, I'm going a bit fast now, guys. The Radiant having choose to ban out their bear. And I don't think that in this particular scenario the Dire would have picked up the bear, but they don't want to face that bear, so they just want to make sure that they're not facing that bear. And same for Queen of Pain. Queen of Pain, they've got a Slack mid. They don't want to fight Queen of Pain mid because they know that Queen of Pain can potentially dominate Slack in the mid position. They want to make sure that they've got dominance in the mid position, and they believe that they can do well with a Slack versus Batrider. So that's why they've banned the Queen of Pain, just to rule out the option of the mid lane being Queen of Pain. And you see they picked up a Razor. I could be wrong about what I just said. They may be looking to rotate that Razor, or I should say put that Razor initially into the mid position, because Razor is one of these heroes I think people don't realize how good Razor is. If he gets that mid position and gets those early levels, he can dominate not his ult. I'm not even talking about his ult. I'm talking about his leash or static link. Oh, I can't remember what it's called. Yeah, it can really shut down melee heroes like Alchemist. And really steal that damage, and everybody knows the power of that static ring, or that plasma field, sorry. Very, very powerful. Not only just picking up CS, but can also drive out of heroes out of lane, and I think that's underutilized. Also his aura works amazingly, and for those who don't know how his aura works, I've just highlighted it there on the screen, but I'll just read it out there. As Razor moves with increased speed, any abilities taken on him are countered with the instant jolt of damage and slowing electricity. So he gets bonus speed up to from 4 to 16% in terms of the levels through their skill. But the slow duration also is quite long for their opponents, but also the damage, and so this can really affect those heroes who spam low level spells, and they can, just like Pugner's Ward, it can do a lot of damage without people realizing. We see, so I think this lineup from the Dire team is slightly unconventional in terms of how it fits together. They've got a Razor, which we don't see much play of. They've got a Juggernaut, which we don't see much play of. And we have a Slack, which we see some play of. What the lanes are going to be, I'm not entirely sure. In terms of the Radiant team, you'll see it's almost conventional team. Even Clinks is getting tier 2-ish, so it's not unconventional in any sense of the word. Clink also excelling in that off-lane position or the mid position, so potentially that's what they're going to be going up against in the mid lane position or the Bat Rider. One of those two, I think. I don't think we're going to see a Rubik or a Cupid Light in the mid position, but let's have a look. Let's see what everyone goes for, and also let's look at the starting items. Oh, we've got an early pause there. Going to take this opportunity to just do some plugins again because I need some practice with plugins. I am Omega Kai. You can see on there on my YouTube channel. You can see my Twitch channel, and you can also see my email address. If you would like me to cast your games just randomly through the week, I do that just for experience. Let me know. It's exciting to see your game being cast. It's also exciting to be able to link it to friends because those you don't know, particularly if it's a lobby game, you can't link those to people who weren't involved in the match. The client of Dota does not allow you to watch lobby games that you weren't a participant in. This includes casting. So, if you do particularly well, you think it's quite exciting to be able to link it to your friends. This is how we played against Bob and John or some other friends that you have. I think I could do really well in casting your game for you. You can see my Twitch channel and my YouTube channel, so please support me by either hitting like or subscribe because it's much, much appreciated. In any case, let's quickly jump over to the actual game now. In terms of startup items, we see a very good pickup there from Swift with those, with both those sentry wards and the smoke, which I think is very, very important to highlight the utility of the smoke and that they can and the sentry wards. This shows me that they're playing at a slightly higher level. They have the ability to, well, intending to play at a slightly higher level. They have that ability to use those sentry wards to block out. Or counter ward and also smoke for that early rotation into a gank or at least an early team fight if they think it's going to happen in either jungle. Whereas on ASP they've picked up not one but two smokes but no sentries at this stage, and that shows me they're going to be doing far more rotation, far more ganking as they can possibly think, as you might be expecting to see, especially with that Slug. I think that's a very, very strong maneuver. Having a look at the lanes, we can see that both Rubik and Keeper Light have fallen to almost a traditional tri lane with the Alchemist there, and I think that's very, very strong. That pushing power from Illuminate, the ability to shuck with that Alchemist and the Rubik with the pickup means that this is almost a semi-offensive tri lane. So anyone who's going to go up against this is going to have some difficulties where they are going to get stunned, they are going to get picked up, and it's going to come regularly with that chakra. So I think this is a very strong defensive tri lane with some offensive potential. In that top lane position here, in the bottom lane position, they're going up against a Shadow Demon, a Juggernaut, and a Nyx, which I think is very, very offensive, much more so than your traditional offensive tri lane because of the disruption and the spin with an Impale to follow through or to initiate. This is where I'm expecting to see first blood. Even though that they're going up against an equally good defensive tri lane, I do think that this is going to go in their favor. You can see here in the mid lane, it looks like it's going to be a Bat Rider, as we expected, going up against the Slark, which wasn't unusual, but I don't know how that's going to work out. I haven't seen many Slarks against Bat Rider. I do think it's potentially going to go slightly in the favour of the Bat Rider until Slug gets level 6, in which case it's then going to swing the other way. And in the top lane we've got a solo Razor, which I have never seen before in terms of the solo offlane, as well as a Clinks. I've seen a Clinks many, many times and he's been very, very successful. Let's see how that works out as the game unfolds. Wow, what I can say. They're now jostling for position. We don't see any blocks of camp. We do see a block of the camp here with this very, very well placed observer ward. This ward is going to be very, very hard to detect. In fact, if they try to deward it, they're going to spend a lot of time. They're going to have to cut down trees in order to find it. So that is fantastic in terms of blocking. And I'm going to be picking that up as a trick. Oh, we see a disruption going on someone. We see a disruption going on to Rubik. We see a pickup followed by an Impale, and this is potentially going to be first blood. There's no body blocking, so he is going to potentially get away. Although they're trying their best to right click. There's no support from the middle. The Illuminate hits in, but doesn't get anyone. Potentially SD is going to go down. Oh, great Impale, but he doesn't realize he actually hits him, so he couldn't follow through. And they're now going to go for The keeper. Wow, SD is taking a lot of damage. He has to pop a healing potion, but it may not be enough. He has to duke. He's going to choose to deny himself. Very, very well done by the Shadow Demon to deny himself on those creeps, giving up first blood, of course, meaning so much for the Radiant team. So much extra gold, and it gives you that little bit of chance to snowball, especially if it's on a carry. Both well done by both teams, jostling for position in the bottom lane. We can see this is where most of the action is going to be. And I'm going to apologise now for my camera work. I am still trying to develop a better technique for camera work. Meanwhile, in the mid position, as I expected, Batrider harassing the hell out of this Slug. This is what I expected to see. He's getting a lot more CS. In fact, he's the leading CS versus this Slug, who's getting some CS, but not particularly a hell of a lot in terms of CS. He is sitting at exactly half. Meanwhile, in the top lane, we have Clinks and Razor going head to head. Razor definitely coming out on top just slightly, but I do think Clinks has the chance. We see some pings, we see a spin, we see a disruption, and also an unstable connection. Can he deny himself with the unstable connection? And he does. Excellent work there. Even though it looks like it's 1-for-1, it looks like it's kills. That is an excellent deny. I think he played that very, very well and very, very carefully. He decided not to throw the unstable concoction, and that shows that he has the perseverance to stay calm in combat. When he knows he's going to go down, he decides, I'm going to let that charge, and I'm going to use that to deny myself. Very well done by both the Shadow Demon and Alchemist in terms of denying themselves. Great disruption. He charges like unstable concoction. He wants to throw it on the Shadow Demon, and he does get him. This is first blood going to Juggernaut on Rubik, and it looks like they may also get another kill. And they do get another two kills, one each for each team. Keep it going down. Unstable concoction gonna go on Jug. He really wants him. He wants him so bad, so bad. And he throws him on the wrong target. He would have probably got the Jug if he had thrown on the Jug. And there's some right-clicking going down onto Nyx. Can he get away? He's looking for a way out. It's not enough. He gets saved by the disruption. An amazing play there by Shadow Demon that enables his teammate to get away. And that is a good job there done by... Oh, wait, Unstable Concoction coming through again. Potentially throwing his own life away. But no. Oh, and they use that smoke. Good use of the smoke. They're looking to potentially circle around and get somebody, thinking that there is coverage of wards, and they are absolutely correct. There is some ward coverage here. Now they're trying to circle him and get this Alchemist, although there's just too many creeps in the way to be able to pick him off. So far, ASAP doing so well in terms of their defensive trail lane. We did see first blood, as we called it, in that bottom lane, picked up by Jug. You know, but it didn't come for free. There was a bit of a to and a fro there in terms of heroes killed. This is again where the action's going to be. Meanwhile, Batrider totally ticking up all that CS in the mid lane. Slug having nothing to... can't really do anything. He's been driven out of lane. He hasn't really been harassed with the sticky tail, but he doesn't need to be. It's just right clicks. It's all that's really needed from the Batrider with that flexibility, with the Firefly. But once Slug gets 6, it could turn around. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, it is going in the favour of Razor, as I didn't really expect it to go so far in the favour of Razor in terms of CS. Clink still has a chance. He's doing very, very well to deny, as well as pick up his own CS, given that he is being out-harassed. And on the bottom we see a bit of a rotation, a bit of a... not rotation, I should say, a bit of a jostling here to try and get some position. They're hoping for rotation from either mid, from both sides. In fact, that's what's actually needed in this scenario. If either one of those heroes rotates in, and they will be doing so in the next 3 minutes, we're going to see a lot of deaths on one side. Whoever chooses to rotate early, and effectively, they're going to pick up somebody, although there's lots of ward coverage for both teams. And there's an amazing smoke gang. Smoke gang going in. It's going to be a disruption. They put down the disruption. There's a wasted purge, but he fireflies. He tries to escape. He picks up somebody with a lasso, but that was a mistake. He gets picked off, and that goes in the favour of the Dire. Good use of the smoke. Excellent use of abilities. Although there was a bit of a mistiming there between Slack and SD, they still got the kill. if you happen to be watching this, guys, if you think this is a particularly good cast, go along to my Twitch channel, click follow if you do have a Twitch account, or from there you can go to my YouTube channel, which is NZ Dota 2 Casting, or look at some of the videos, and if you think they're good, keep subscribed. The more support I get, the greater it is. In any case, back to the game, the thing that you're all here to watch. We have a look in the mid here. Batrider's still trying to pick up some make back from his earlier loss in terms of net worth. And saying that, let's have a quick look at net worth. No, he's still doing alright. Surprisingly, Jug outpacing the Alchemist in terms of net worth. Jug choosing to try and go for kills quite early rather than actually go for kills. But there's a nice stack of abilities. He does get forced to use his stick, and they do want to get the Shadow Demon. They do pick up Shadow Demon. Misplayed here slightly by the Nyx. He didn't have enough mana for his Carapace, but it didn't really matter. He's tanky enough and able to survive that. Now it's 3 for 5. It's still in the favour of ASAP. Would that Juggernaut doing so well against this Alchemist? You know, I would have really thought this Alchemist would do a lot better. Let's have a quick look at his abilities once this engagement ends. And as I highlight him, you can see on your screen, those who follow the Dota 2 scene can see he's made some critical errors here in terms of his build. Opting to go for a high level of unstable concoction and an acid. Unfortunately I missed that, but that was Clink's almost killing Razor. He's opted for one level of the Acidica. The acid spray, sorry, and 3 levels unstable concoction, and only 1 level in Grevil's Greed, and I think that's a terrible error. You know, Grevil's Greed should be your first maxed, unless you're going up against something with a lot of push. You don't really need that acid spray, and while they have some push in the form of the Juggernaut with their ward, I don't think it's like a Darkseer or a Nature's Prophet or anything, so he didn't need it. He really needed that extra level of Grevil's Greed, because that would clearly put him on top of the CS. We see a bit of drawing there and a bit of pinging on the bottom lane. This Alchemist wants some help. He thinks he can take these guys, but I think this is an error. This is a much of an error. There's going to be a spin here, yeah, and he's not going to be able to throw this unstable concoction except onto a hero who, oh wait, in saying that, they might pick him off, but there's no follow through from the telekinesis already been used by Rubik. He does, though, however, have that chemical rage, but not getting the early levels in Grevil's Greed is gonna hinder him. He's not getting stacks and pulls from the jungle from his team, and I think that's where the Radiant is going wrong. If they just stacked and pulled this, give this farm to the Alchemist, he is staying in lane, which is what you expect, but there's just not enough stacking and not enough for him to take that out. If they stacked for him, he would be sitting on the most CS. In fact, he would have completed whatever it is he's building now. It looks like he's building a Vlad's first. I would have gone for a Battlefield, but that's just me. Meanwhile, in the top lane, this Razor, I must say, this must be a new strategy. I'm wanting to see a lot more. Razor doing very well in that top lane solo against that Clinks. In fact, I called it as the Clinks in favour because of his ability to sort of out-harass the Razor if he times those rings better. Maybe it might be player skill, but it may be hero matchup. It could be that the Razor is actually doing so well because he is got a Clinks in that top lane. And my earlier cast about who's going to go to is clearly a misplay. Or miscast. Wow, like this. Hey guys, also if you're listening and you're in game and you want to sort of jump in or you want to try your hand at casting, add me on Steam. It's Omega Kai. You should be able to see my name there. I'm more than happy to have co-casters because I think more the merrier. You know, there's not enough casting going on in the Australian New Zealand scene. As much as you might think there's enough casters, there is not. And meanwhile, what are we going to do? Meanwhile, Razor yet again out harassing this Clinks. This Clinks not having a lot of fun. Trying to jump to different lanes regularly, but this action's all in the bottom lane. There's a lot of abilities going in. In fact, there's a Juggernaut spin and an ult, or the other way around, and that easily picks off the Alchemist. And also the keeper. Oh no, there's a bit of a save, but they're going to die for this. There's no way they're not going to die for that. Yeah, he's going to die for that. And potentially all three, both of them going to go down. There's a Bat Rider coming in. He does pick up with a lasso. There's Firefly. There's an Illuminate. They're trying to get the Slark. The Slark is the Juggernaut. The Juggernaut's running. Can he get away? He's looking for an escape. He just can't find it. He uses a spin to try and get out of the scenario. This is going to save him. Well done there by the Juggernaut in order to escape. And good plays there, good rotation there from the Bat Rider. That didn't work out entirely in their favour, but had he not rotated, that would have easily been a clean-up there. And in fact, Slark now rotating into the bottom lane to also see who he can pick off. Looking for possibly this Keeper of Light, which he is going to find, but he misses the jump. And in fact, this Keeper of Light is going to get out with a TP. Must say, this is a much closer game than I'd expected, where you see that the Radiant is starting to respond slightly to the pushes and the throws from this tri lane. They haven't suffered as many losses, although they have suffered some, and this good rotation from the Bat is giving the Dire a bit of a problem down the bottom lane. Slark not being able to find any kills, whereas Bat Rider definitely coming in and playing a key role in terms of turning the battles down here. And yet again, I miss another kill from Razor on Clux. In fact, he's picked up a killing spree. No rotation to the top where he needs it. This Razor definitely picking up a lot of farm, and this is going to be a problem. He is building definitely into, I would say, early eggs. But as I say that, we see that the Bat Rider's picked up Blink Dagger. And this is going to turn the game even more in the favour of the Radianters, I believe. They don't have an advantage at this stage, but I do think that with their Blink Dagger, with the lasso, they're going to be pulling heroes out of position much easier. We do see, oh wow, and I just realised Razor's now rotated into the bottom lane, and they're looking to get some heroes. The Radiant being, the two support Radiants being all by themselves, not feeling particularly, oh we do see his summons coming though. Who is he summoning in? And he is summoning an Unstable Concoction. Excellent play, although there's no one to throw it on. And this is currently streaming on the Twitch channel. I do have some comments here, and I do have some followers who have logged on. So welcome, guys, and welcome to the game. This is just a warm-up game, a normal practice Tuesday. Oh, wait, look at all that damage going down onto him. There's damage going down onto Bat Rider. He comes in for the rotation, but Razor and Juggernaut using all their abilities is just too much. They're looking for this Alchemist. This Alchemist has got Unstable Concoction charge. He does get somebody, but they get him, no problem. And they're going to, oh, wow. And they get an amazing Shadow Demon, what is it called? Soul Catcher with the Razor, just doing so much damage. We see a buyback from Alchemist. He's looking for somebody. He throws Unstable Concussion, but he's on his own. This is not going to be enough to actually kill someone. In fact, this could potentially go bad. He is going to get spun on. Well, someone's going to get spun on, and they're looking to pick off yet another kill. This going all in the favour of Dire, and we see kills both these heroes potentially being killed. Alchemist just getting picked off there by the Slack, and is now officially looking very poor here for the Dire team.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack.
Just momentarily there, guys. Sorry, I've stopped cussing there. I was just trying to work out whether or not my stream was actually working effectively, or whether or not there was a problem. But it does appear that the stream is working properly. It's just that I can't see all the people on the channel. In the top lane here, we're seeing another rotation. Good rotation. So much rotation from the Dire. Very little rotation from the Radiant. And I think that's why they're having a big difficulty dealing with all these heroes. You know, they're always outnumbering the Radiant, and whether it be in the bottom lane or the top lane. And we see the Firefly here from the Bat Rider. He has to TP out though because he's taking too much damage. And this could be a good chance here for the Dire to get this mid tower because there's no one around. They don't know this. They can't see the graphs. They don't know where everyone is. But this is a good push here. There's no one responding to mid. They could get that mid easy. They should do a trade-off. I don't think they can stop this bottom tower. They should definitely go for the mid and go for a trade-off.
Dire's bottom
because they can easily get this mid and potentially tier 2 if no one from the top lane responds. And I think a tier 2 mid is a good trade-off for a tier 2 side lane. Oh, it looks like they're going to get not one but 2 towers here. This is a very good trade-off for the Dire. They get 2 towers. No, 1 tower. 1 tower. They don't push this bottom. Why not? Oh, and an excellent blink in there by the Bat Rider, doing what Bat Rider did as well. Although he doesn't have anywhere to go. He doesn't do as much damage as he thought he was. That Lesu only being level 1. He's being forced to flee, and he has to blink out. And they do get this bottom tower. This is a tier 2 for a tier 2 and a tier 1 for an exchange for a tier 2. Excellent trade-off. Nice efficiency here from the Dire. They're really punishing the Radiant for those early mistakes in the bottom lane, and the fact that they did not rotate as well as the Dire. And I think that's what it comes down to, as well as putting a Clinks up against the Razor. Although I thought that would have gone in the Clinks' favour, it did not. And they did not identify that was an issue and did not respond.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And so much fun. Let's have a quick look at net worth again. You can see here the Radiant falling far behind where you would have expected them to be. And you can see, especially with this Alchemist, he should clearly be the farm leader. But so it should be the leading farm by a mile. But he's only got 2 levels in Grevil's Concoction, having picked up an extra level on that Acid Spray. This is a big misplay. This person does not obviously play a lot of Alchemist, or perhaps they're playing a different meta. Grevil's Greed is a must. You must max that Grevil's Greed in favour of anything else, because that Grevil Greed is just going to give you so much farm, so many items. Look how delayed his Shadow Blade is. Meanwhile, in the middle, they're trying to pick up the Slark, but having very little success. And Dire picking up another tower, uncontested, for no trade, I must add. And they're now looking to rotate mid and potentially pick off who they can pick off. It looks like, especially the Slark, is gonna try and look to jump on someone, but they just can't find anyone just yet. And that doesn't mean they won't find someone, just that they have to look very carefully. And they may even get this tier 2 tower. Wow, this is going to be an excellent tier 2 pickup if they can do this. Yeah, Slark looking for that Clinks that he saw earlier. Just can't find him. Moving so fast, finding it difficult to keep track on the actual cast. They do see the Clinks. He does get... look at that! Nice meta level. They do stop down the Clinks. The Clinks gets dusted. This tower is desired. Clinks gets away, but it doesn't matter. They deny the tower, and that's what matters. That extra gold advantage. Yeah. Meanwhile, in the bottom line, we see, as you see, Axis plays Jug picking up a mega kill, and this is, and officially, from my perspective, a bit of a steamroll. Although there was a bit of plateau effect, they're just too far. The Radiant's just too far behind. I don't know how they're going to bounce back from this. I mean, they have the capabilities. They have a Rubik there, they have an Alchemist. They need to pick up some extra farm with that Alchemist, and perhaps coordinate better with the Clinks to gank, especially with the Bat Rider Clinks combo. But they're just not being able to find that yet. And they are going to lose this tier 2 tower if they're not careful. And that's going to be 3 towers, 4 towers potentially for the price of 1. No, they are going for a trade. Nice push here by Alchemist and also Clinks. But there is a Slark who's looking really desperately to pick somebody up. There's a Soul Catcher and a Disruption, but there's no follow through just yet. No Dagon or anything I don't see coming out. No, but there is going to be an Impale. Can he Impale? No. He does Impale. The Alchemist chooses to retreat from that. And that's going to allow the Alchemist to... No, I was going to say it's going to allow the Alchemist to escape. There's nice damage coming out of this Clinks. He does pick up Shadow Demon. There's a Bat Rider blinking. He doesn't lasso anyone, but they don't need to. And it is a tower trade. Working way more effectively than I thought they would. Showing that they're not out of the game just yet. Wow, we have a great effect here going on with the Radiant. I think that they've managed to consolidate slightly, and I think now this Alchemist got 3 levels of Gravel's Grid. He will eventually keep it if the game goes long enough. He has picked up BKB. He has got Shadow Blade. Oh, he's missing a component for BKB, but still, he's going to pick up a BKB very, very shortly, and that's going to prove to be very, very good. Yeah, just sorry there, guys. Was pausing just slightly to respond to a number of messages I had got in Steam saying that there is some audio issues. I think I've adjusted for those just now, but you can see here as they're pushing down the middle, they are doing very, very well against this tier 2 tower. They are going to get yet another tower pickup, and then, but at the same time, there is a bit of a response, but I think it's a belated response. I also think it's not a timed response, and that is going to go against them. They do pick up Clinks for an exchange of no heroes. There is a keeper here. She's going to be able to drive. He's going to be able to drive off the lane. But this Razor is doing so much damage. He's got an Eagle Song, so he is going for something particularly punchy, and they're going to have a bit of a problem here. The Radiant, they pick up another kill. There's a Bat Raider blink, but he doesn't find anyone, and he's going to go down. He's going to he's taking so much damage, but no, they do retreat, and that is a good push there by the Dire, picking up 2 heroes and a lot of damage on that tower. In the bottom lane, come on, no, they're looking to do Rosh. They are rotating into the Rosh pit, even though a number of them are on low HP. They're taking now to choose a Butterfly. Wow, Razor going for a Butterfly, but in any case, they're choosing now to take that opportunity to do the Roshan, now that the Dire's had so many heroes down, and the Dire is playing very, very defensively, so they're choosing to capitalize on that and take up this Roshan, which they'll do very, very comfortably. I don't even think that the Radiant has any idea they're doing it, because of the way how quickly they responded to pushing their tower and then immediately dropping into the Roshan, but even though they were so low. And we see a good pickup there. This is going to be a Rax situation. If they push down the mid and take this down the mid here and take this, they're going to have no problems in taking this tower if they stick together, you know. And in this area here, if these guys they lose this, if they choose to not play safely, they'll not only lose that, but they'll get GD, they'll get taken out. You know, so many times you see they're about to lose mid-racks and they just dive hero after hero, buybacks, and they don't sort of coordinate what they're going to do. They don't let them just take it and then consolidate, and hopefully they don't do that here. We see not the kind of collective push that I would have liked to have seen from the Dire. They are coming in, but they're coming in very, very piecemeal, and I don't think they're pushing their advantage that they realize that they have. They have so much advantage with this extra gold, with this extra net worth, and an Aegis. They're not pushing it. They're choosing, look, we've got one member missing, which is like, and they've immediately retreated. And they're just basically... I don't think they realize how much ahead they are. They're hoping that the Slack is going to push this bottom lane, and I don't know if that was the right strategy. Alright, so I'm picking that there is a triple stack here of agents, so this is going to be a good pickup for Alchemist if he goes in to get it. Oh, sorry, triple stacking now. Yeah, and those of you who don't realize, triple stacking is very, very good for those farm carries. Yeah, they are... Oh no, they failed the stack, but it doesn't really matter. He's going to go for the double stack. He is going to get a lot of extra CS. He's going to get a lot of extra gold. With that Gravel's now maxed out, he has completed that BKB, and he is going to go look towards something that's going to be more damage DLA for the team fights. But he has also got 2 levels in Chemical Rage, and this is where we're going to see him do his damage. But meanwhile, in the mid, they are pushing down. They're going to try and pick off Rubik and push this tower. If they don't respond carefully, they could be GG. What's Klink's doing all by himself up here? He's damaged a lot of damage onto Nyx. He doesn't know Nyx is there. Nyx opens up with a stun and an ability. It's too late. They've dusted. This Klink's is dead. No way he's going to escape this. Although he does do some excellent jukes, he is still picked off by the unstoppable Razor, who's picked up yet another kill. And this is a nail in the coffin, I think, for the Radiant team. They should have played more conservatively. They stuck together, split pushed only when they could safely split push and summon back with the Coddle, and allowed this Alchemist just to get their free farm to catch up. And he is slowly getting there. He is only sort of 1,800 gold away from the lead farm, and so that's a good game back. But you know that's only because he finally got their 4 levels in Grievous Greed. We see here on the top lane, there's a lot of damage going down here onto everybody, especially this Bat Rider, who is going to get taken out, and he goes down. Everyone running through Firefight, not caring. They want to pick off Rupik as well, and this is a steamroll. They are going to take this tier 3 tower. There's a belated delay from everybody. There's only 2 heroes left. They have to be very, very cautious now. They have to decide whether or not they let this go down. And sort of regroup to counter push, or if they try and save it. And if the save fails, they will get double raxed, because this is all the... Well, it's not all the way pushed in, but it is open in the mid as well. Yeah, they have to defend, and nah, they're choosing to allow them to take these racks and regroup for a counter push, and I think that is smart. Oh yeah, and they're diving deep to pick off the heroes. In fact, they get 2 heroes with Juggernaut and a third. They're gonna get this. They're gonna get all of them. This is GG right here. If they get everybody, the Alchemist is looking for an escape. Keeper of the Light being the only person being able to stop them, and they do repel this assault onto their own well. Aegis used up. Aegis used up on Razor, followed by an unstable concoction stun. It's just not going to be enough damage. He is going to get away. Oh well, it is a lot. They do a lot of damage, just not enough. But Radiant say, hey, Dire say, hey, that's okay. That's okay. You've only got 10 kills. We've got a Rax. We feel that we are comfortable in this position, even though we threw it slightly. But what do you do as a Radiant? Well, oh, nice banner by the way. I think you have to just allow extra time for this Alchemist to free farm. If this Alchemist can get a little bit more free farm, he'll start to get away from the Dire in such a way that they won't be able to deal with them, because they don't have a significant amount of lockdown. They have a Razor, they have a Jug, they have a Slark who's probably got semi lockdown. They've got a Nyx and a Shadow Demon, which is pretty much all they've really got. And if he's BKB'd, their right click potential is only going to come out of Jug. And I think if they let this Alchemist free farm, you know, now that he's got these abilities, he's going to AC. Good choice. If they let this Alchemist free farm, they won't be able to deal to him. They'll be able to deal with this Bat Rider. Bat Rider's got a 4-star lasso. That's what you expect to see with the Blink Dagger. Orchid on Clinks. Yeah, the good choice. Orchid, look at that. Look at all that damage going down on the Slark. No choice. Just dies pretty much instantly. Mounts immediately. And that's what they're going to keep doing. They keep doing this, and they'll come back. And I think this is the downfall of the Dire. They didn't realize the farm potential from this Alchemist. You know, even though he picked wrong, he didn't go the right build in the beginning in terms of a late game farm build. He's still got enough farm to pay them a visit. You know, look at now, they're paying a visit to the tier 2 tower. Tier 2 tower taking a lot of damage. There is this kind of counter initiation about to happen. Will they get picked off? Will they actually escape? Will they be able to do enough damage to get away? No, Keeper of the Light. You know, Keeper of the Light Nyx. That's a good matchup for Nyx. So they do get 2 heroes. But what's really, really important is they didn't get the Alchemist. You know, this Alchemist is really their key for survival, their hope to come back from this one top Rax. But someone does need to, these 2 other heroes do need to retreat and defend this tower, or otherwise they're going to get double Raxed. And there are TPs being used by some people, yeah. And there is a reaction. All 3 heroes now rotating into the middle to defend this tower against this 5-man push. Can they do it? Can they do it? This is what it comes down to. Alchemist deciding he wants to get engaged really, really close. Clinks is there. There's just, he does unload. There's a Juggernaut. Oh, it's just too much. Too much damage. This is GG here. They are going to take this Rax if they play very, very smart, because there's only a Clinks and a Keeper really to stop them in terms of damage. Good job there, done by the Dire.
Radiant's middle
As expected, GG call, go to next, and we will be back with the second game of the random Tuesday night Australian New Zealand Guild. Thanks for watching. I was your caster, Omega Kai. I had no Kai caster, unfortunately. That's okay. You can hear me ramble. That's fine. There's my information for my YouTube channel and my Twitch channel. Please hit subscribe, hit follow. The more support I have, the more potential I have to do some official events, which is what I'm trying to do. Although, one person watching this video is all it takes to make me happy. This is a plugin here for Southern Cross Dota, the community hub for the Australian New Zealand community. Look, if you're into Dota and you want to support the group, go along to southerncrossdota.com, go and sign up to their forums, watch their vlogs, watch a bunch of the different things they got on their site. It's going. There's too much to talk about how much this is on there, but especially if you're looking to get into casting, this is a good place to go because there is many casters putting their names out there, and you'll be able to get some training. You'll be able to get some co-casting ability from the guys that are on that site. So go along and sign up, and I'll be back for the next